Hello, and I welcome you to the UPSC Prelims Chaturya series of Shantha Lakshmi IAS Academy, where we would be discussing daily Prelims MCQs from the Hindu, Indian Express, and PIB. So let's begin. First question. With reference to the National Investigation Agency of India, consider the following statements. Statement 1. It is a statutory body under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Statement 2. It is empowered to investigate and prosecute offences committed within and outside India. Statement 3. The cases investigated by the National Investigation Agency are dealt by Special National Investigation Agency courts. Before doing so, the central government must consult the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. How many of the above statements is or are correct? Only one, only two, all three, none of the above. So this question was asked with reference to a news article in the Hindu where it has mentioned that the National Investigation Agency has filed charge sheet against the Khalistani Tiger Force who are involved in smuggling of arms and explosives from the Pakistan. So in this context, we have asked this particular question. So if you look at the answer to this question, statement 1, it is a statutory body under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Yes. The National Investigation Agency is formed under the National Investigation Agency Act 2008 and it operates under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So statement 1 is correct. Second statement is it is empowered to investigate and prosecute offences committed within and outside India. Yes, statement 2 is also correct. Coming to the third statement, the cases investigated by National Investigation Agency are dealt by the Special Investigation Courts. Yes, the cases which are investigated by National Investigation Agency are tried in the National Investigation Agency courts. But before doing so, the central government must consult with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. This part of the statement is wrong because the central government must consult with the Chief Justice of the concerned High Court, not the Supreme Court. So statement 3 is incorrect. So how many of the statements are correct? 1 and 2 were correct. So only 2 of the above statements were correct. Option B is the right answer. The National Investigation Agency is a central counter-terrorism law enforcement agency. It is mandated to investigate all the offences that would affect the sovereignty, security, and integrity of India, such as friendly relations with the foreign states, against atomic and nuclear facilities. It will also investigate into the offences regarding smuggling of arms, drugs, fake Indian currency, and infiltration from across the border. The offences under statutory laws enacted to implement the international treaties, agreements, conventions, resolutions of the United Nations. So all these cases were investigated by the National Investigation Agency. It was established in the 2009 following the Mumbai terrorist attacks in 2008. Under the which Act? National Investigation Agency Act 2008, it operates under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So the National Investigation Agency has the power to take over the investigation of terrorism related cases from the state police force and other agencies. It also has the authority to investigate the cases across the state boundaries without obtaining the permission from the state governments. Remember, it can investigate cases across the state boundaries without obtaining the prior permission from the state government. So the state government can also refer the cases related to the scheduled offences to the central government for National Investigation Agency's investigation under the Section 6 of the National Investigation Act 2008. What are the scheduled offences? The offences which are to be investigated, which comes under the National Investigation Agency Act offences. The central government can also direct the National Investigation Agency to investigate a scheduled offence both within as well as the outside of India, both within and outside India. For prosecuting the accused under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and other scheduled offences, the National Investigation Agency needs to seek the sanction from the central government. Under the 2008 Act, the National Investigation Agency 2008 Act, it has created the special courts to try the cases under the Act. But with 2009 amendment, it has allowed the central government to designate the session courts as a special courts to try the scheduled offences under the Act. But before doing so, the central government must consult the Chief Justice of the relevant High Court. It must consult the Chief Justice of the relevant High Court, not the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Not only the central government, even the state governments can designate the session courts as special courts for trying the scheduled offences. Moving forward, next question. Consider the following statements about Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. Statement 1. The central government can declare an activity as unlawful by the way of an official gazette. Second statement, only Indian nationals are charged under the Act. Third statement, it is applicable to offenders even if crime is committed on the foreign land. Which of the above statements is or are incorrect? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 2 only, none of the above. We have asked this question with reference to a news article in the Hindu where it has mentioned that the center has extended Unlawful Activities Prevention Act ban on 8 meaty extremist organizations. So coming back to the question, if you look at the statement 1, the central government can declare an activity as unlawful by the way of an official gazette. Yes, statement 1 is correct. By releasing an official gazette, the central government can declare an activity as an unlawful and organization as an unlawful organization. Statement 1 is correct. Coming to the second statement, only Indian nationals are charged under the Act. No, both foreigners and Indian nationals are charged under the Act. Statement 2 is incorrect. Coming to the third statement, it will be applicable to offenders even if crime is committed on the foreign land. Yes, third statement is correct. Which of the above statements are incorrect? Second statement is only incorrect. So, C is the right option. So, this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act was enacted in the year 1967. What is its mandate? Its mandate is to prevent the certain unlawful activities of individuals and associations that are dealing with terrorist activities. So under the Act, it has defined unlawful activity as any activity that would bring out secession of a part of territory of India, or it would incite any individual or group of individuals to bring about secession of the part of territory of India. And any activity, it also covers the activities which would disrupt the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the India. Before 2004 amendment, this act would only deal with unlawful activities, but with 2004 amendment, it has widened its scope by adding terrorist activities as a list of offences under this act. So now, under this act, the government can ban organizations for their terrorist activities. And the next amendment was happened in 2019. The 2019 amendment, now the central government has the power to designate even individuals as a terrorist on certain grounds which are provided under the Act. With the 2019 amendment, it has empowered the Director General of the National Investigation Agency to grant approval of seizure or attachment of a property which is related to the terrorism when the case is investigated by the National Investigation Agency. It also empowered the officers of the National Investigation Agency of the rank of the inspector and above to investigate into the cases of the terrorism. In addition to the officers of DSP, in addition to the officers DSP and ACP and above the rank officer in the state. So the central government has the power to decide an activity as an unlawful or an organization as an unlawful by releasing an official gazette. Under it, it has a death penalty and life imprisonment as highest punishments. Under the UPA Act, both Indian as well as foreign nationals can be charged. The investigation agency can file a charge sheet in a maximum of 180 days after the arrest, and the duration can be extended further by after intimating the court. Coming to the next question, Bongo Sagar 23 is a bilateral exercise between which countries? India and Sri Lanka, India and Malaysia, India and Singapore, India and Bangladesh. So it is a bilateral exercise between India and Bangladesh. Recently, the 4th edition of bilateral exercise Bongo Sagar 23 and the 5th edition of Coordinated Patrol, that is CORPAT, has been conducted between the Indian Navy and Bangladesh Navy in the northern Bay of Bengal. So, the Indian Navy ships Kutar, Kiltan, Maritime Patrol Aircraft Dornier, along with Bangladesh Navy ships, has participated in this exercise. So, this is Corpus 23 first humanitarian assistance and disaster relief drill, which focused on a search and rescue operation at sea. Coming to next question, the Kali Tiger Reserve that has appeared recently in the news is located in which state? Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, West Bengal. The right answer is Karnataka. This has been in the news because recently that Kali Tiger Reserve officials has arrested habitual wildlife offenders and recovered poached animal parts from them. So in this context, we are studying about the Kali Tiger Reserve. Kali Tiger Reserve, earlier known as Dandeli Anshi Tiger Reserve. It is located in the central portion of the Kannada district of the Karnataka state. Under it, it has two important protected areas of the region. It comprises of the two important protected areas of the region, such as Dandeli Wildlife Sanctuary and Anshi National Park. Kali River flows through this tiger reserve, so it has named as Kali Tiger Reserve. We can see moist deciduous and semi-evergreen forests in this area, and Asiatic elephant, tiger leopard, spotted deer, barking deer, sloth bear, Malabar civet, giant civet are some of the prominent species that are present in this tiger reserve. Next question, consider the following statements about crop residue management scheme. Statement 1, it is a central sector scheme of the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare to address the issue of stubble burning by assisting farmers. Second statement, farmers receive financial assistance at a rate of 80% for the purchase of crop residue management machinery. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. If you look at statement 1, this is correct because this scheme, the crop residue management scheme, is a central sector scheme under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Its aim is to address the issue of stubble burning. Coming to the second statement, the farmers receive financial assistance at the rate of 80% for the purchase of crop residue management machinery. No, the farmers receive the financial assistance at a rate of 50%, not 80%. So, statement 2 is incorrect. What is the right answer? 1 only. Option A is the correct answer. So, it is a central sector scheme under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare to address the issue of stubble burning by assisting not only farmers but also some related organizations in buying those machinery. The scheme will support some machineries that would help us to address the issue of stubble burning, such as the machines include super storm management systems, happy seeder, super seeder, smart seeder, zero till, seed cum fertilizer drill, mulcher, and paddy straw chopper. So under the scheme, the farmers will receive the financial assistance at a rate of 50% to purchase the crop residue management machinery. Whereas the cooperative societies, farmer producer organizations, panchayats, they will receive the financial assistance at the rate of 80% for establishing customer hiring centers. Farmers will receive 50% of assistance, whereas cooperative societies, FPOs, panchayats will receive the financial assistance at the rate of 80%. Next question, consider the statements. Headline inflation measures the price inflation arising due to all types of commodities in the economy. Second statement, The core inflation measures the headline inflation excluding volatile components of the food and fuel items. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So the right answer is both 1 and 2, because the headline inflation will measure the price inflation of all types of commodities in the economy, whereas in case of core inflation, it will exclude the products from the food and energy sector which are very volatile. So in core inflation, it will measure the headline inflation by excluding volatile components such as food and fuel items. So both these statements were correct. So option C is the right answer. So I've been discussing this question with reference to a news article where it has mentioned that the retail inflation eases to a 4-month low of 4.87% in the October. So from the UPSC exam point of view, do not need to remember the facts, what is the rate at which inflation has been increasing or decreasing, but you need to know about the static part behind the static part. Coming to the next question, the Ecological Threat Report 2023 was recently released by United Nations Environmental Programme, Greenpeace India, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Institute for Economics and Peace. The right answer is option D. It is released by the Institute for Economics and Peace. So under it, it will collect the some metrics related to ecological data, some metrics and ecological data that helps us to identify the ill-prepared countries to cope with ecological shocks. It will use data from the scientific research on population growth, water stress, food insecurity, droughts, floods, cyclones, and rising temperatures. Based on it, it will assess the countries and how they would cope with extreme ecological shocks. So the Institute for Economics and Peace is an international and independent think tank. It will measure the human well-being and their progress. Some of the key findings of the report were 1 billion people were living in 42 countries with severe food insecurity. So 1 billion people are living in 42 countries are facing severe food insecurity, and 1 in 4 people globally lack the access to safe drinking water. By 2050, 2.8 billion people will reside in the countries which are facing severe ecological threats compared to 1.8 billion in 2023. Next question. The credit rating agencies are regulated by which ministry or department or agency? Option A, Reserve Bank of India. Option B, Securities and Exchange Board of India. Option C, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Option D, Ministry of Finance. The right answer is option D. The credit rating agencies are regulated by Securities and Exchange Board of India. So these are the institutions, the credit rating agencies are the institutions that will assess the individual or company's credit worthiness. In other words, we can say that it will assess the financial strength of the companies and government entities. These credit rating agencies will help investors to identify the company's ability to pay debts and its level of risk in repaying capacity. Whereas poor credit rating indicates that the entity is at high risk of defaulting the loan. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has the right to authorize and regulate the credit rating agencies in India as per SEBI Regulations 1999 and the SEBI Act of 1992. What are the entities that are rated by the credit rating agencies? The entities are companies, state governments, non-profit organizations, countries, securities, special purpose entities, and the local government bodies as well. In India, some of the top credit rating agencies were CRISIL, CARE, ICRA, Brickwork Ratings India Private Limited, Small and Medium Enterprises Rating Agency of India Limited, India Ratings and Research Private Limited are some of the important and some of the registered and authorized credit rating agencies. Next question, with reference to leather puppetry, which of the following statements is or are correct? Leather puppetry involves the use of puppets made from the goat skin. Second statement, the leather puppetry often depicts the characters from the Hindu mythology. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The right answer to this question is both 1 and 2. Because the leather puppetry will use the skin of goat to make these puppets. And under leather puppetry, it will depict the characters from the Hindu mythology such as Ramayana and Mahabharata. So both of these statements were correct. Option C is the right answer. So we have been discussing this question with reference to a news article in the Hindu where it has mentioned that there is a lack of patronage to this leather puppetry in Andhra Pradesh. It is leather puppetry is a shadow puppet theater of the state of Andhra Pradesh in India, which has its roots dating back to 3rd century BCE. It has a history of consistent royal patronage. Under the leather puppetry, the performers will recite some of the themes from Hindu mythology such as Ramayana and Mahabharata. The puppets are manufactured with the skin of antelope, spotted deer, and goat. Colorful characters are hand painted on it. So this is all about leather puppetry. By this, we are concluding this session. I hope this session was helpful. Thank you.